Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. President Muhammadu Buhari meets with security chiefs in an effort to end insecurity and the spate of killings across the country. Senate orders Nigeria National Petroleum Corporation to clear fuel queues across the country within 7 days. And Liberia's new president, George Weah, begins tenure with sweeping changes in the running of government. Do remember that for more on our top stories and others, please visit our website channelstv.com and youtube.com/channelsweb. And log on to m.channelstv.com to watch us on your mobile device, or download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS devices from their respective stores. The Channels TV and Channels 24 app will give you access to news and updates. You also have access to the Eyewitness feature, with which you can share those pictures, videos or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the menu, and then follow the instructions. Now, air travellers need some assurance with the reopening of the runway of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, after a temporary closure. The Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria had announced the closure of the runway after a private jet being operated by Nestoil skidded off the Abuja runway. While the closure lasted, several flights could neither take off nor land, leaving hundreds of passengers stranded. In 2017, the airport was closed for 6 weeks to allow repair work on the runway. Now, he may be out of office, but the former head of Nigeria's electoral umpire, the Independent National Electoral Commission, is giving some advice ahead of the 2019 elections. Professor Atahiru Jega, the INEC former chairman, was at the University of Lagos today, where he delivered a lecture on the need for volunteers in Nigeria's electoral process. Professor Jega warned that the unemployment situation in the country needs to be tackled fast, stating that the nation sits on a keg of gunpowder if it does not creatively divert the energy of her idle youth.
We else could talk about Nigeria's electoral process than the immediate past chairman of the commission, Professor Atahiru Jega. He's at the University of Lagos, and as a keynote speaker here, the university professor is concerned about the millions of unemployed Nigerian youths and the danger that portends for the immediate future, especially come 2019.
It's important that we find ways and the means of constructively engaging these youth in politics, in the electoral process, in the governance process. Otherwise, rather than the youth bulge being potentially used for development, it can turn into a nemesis and create more crisis in the political and governance processes. And we are beginning to see it in many African countries, even here in Nigeria. The unemployed youth are being utilized negatively, even in politics, even in elections. And of course, they are increasingly frustrated by unemployment, whether they are secondary school graduates or university graduates. And that frustration is a keg of gunpowder, which, if not properly managed by responsible governance processes, would obviously explode.
Professor Jega is of the opinion that one of the factors that has changed the Nigerian electoral process and helped its integrity is the volunteers drawn from the academia. He believes more of that will help Nigeria's electoral process come 2019.
It's very important that we get volunteers involved, but we must get credible volunteers involved. Because credible volunteers who participate in the process can add to the integrity of the process.
After the lecture, it was time for questions, and perhaps for the first time, you may hear the former INEC chair speak about his encounter with Elder Godze Orubebe at a Results Collation Center in Abuja.
Luckily, we knew that everything was televised nationwide and even internationally, and therefore, as he spoke and made his allegations, we did not want the process to be disrupted, and if it was going to be disrupted, the whole world will know that it was not because of anything that we did.
2019 is here. As far as the election timetable is concerned, Professor Jega believes effective participation is power of the citizen.
We must stop agonizing and we must begin to organize for integrity of our elections. Thank you very much.
Sean Okimalwe, reporting for Channels Television News.
The Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria has pledged its members' support for the National Broadcasting Commission towards ensuring a smooth switchover to digital broadcasting in the country. The Chairman, Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria and Chairman of Channels Media Group, Mr. John Momo, gave the assurance today at the digital switchover meeting in Uyo, the Akwa Ibom state capital.
For 2 days, the discussion in this hall at the Le Méridien Ibom Hotel in Akwa Ibom State will be centered around getting it right with the digital switchover, or DSO. And all the necessary players involved in making this happen are present. First up is the Director General of the National Broadcasting Commission. To him, the year 2018 can be better than the previous ones with all hands on deck. He also lists the achievements and targets towards making everyone feel the impact of the digital switchover.
And more importantly, we're able to showcase the abilities of Nigerians to deliver a project that eventually move from scenario creation and policy papers to concrete actualization. At least on the plateau, the FCT, and now Kwara and Kaduna states, our compatriots are watching television in a different way from hitherto. In the next couple of weeks, we will move the train to Enugu and Osun states. And the indications are that before the end of the first quarter of 2018, we will also conclude the switchover in Delta and Gombe states.
For the chairman of the Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria and chairman of the Channels Media Group, dynamism is the name of the game. He urges broadcasters to be more proactive in the face of the challenges posed by social media platforms. The stage is also used to solicit for stronger partnerships from broadcasters and support for the Broadcasting Commission.
We are witnessing an era where the broadcast industry is presenting great opportunities and at the same time facing some threats. Opportunities in the sense that the whole definition of broadcasting is changing from content platforms like Apple to OTT services like Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon Prime, through to social media players like Facebook and Twitter. And so many companies are eager to get great content. This is where we as broadcasters need the support of the NBC to ensure that it lays the groundwork for future success. The best way for us to invent the future is to put in place the best enabling architecture and give the industry the freedom to thrive.
The drive toward the digital switchover may not yet be understood by all, but with retreats like this get at problem solving and awareness creation, the feeling of the end consumer, once it takes full effect, should be satisfaction.
And from there, we cross over to Abuja. Here's Linda Akigbe. Linda.
Hello, Ijoma.
Hey.
Now, the Minister of Works, Housing and Power, Babatunde Fashola, has rejected allegations that the Ministry of Power fraudulently awarded a 42 billion naira contract. The minister appeared before a joint committee of the House of Representatives investigating the allegation. Mr. Fashola had a face-off with lawmakers during the proceedings as he maintains that the project followed due process. Our correspondent Larry Lasisi has this report.
And so you must be in control and in charge.
It's a one-day investigative hearing organized by our joint committee of the House of Representatives. Appearing before them is the Minister of Works, Housing and Power, the Managing Director of the Rural Electrification Agency, some heads of federal universities and officials of non-governmental organizations. The committee is investigating the Fast Power program for accelerated gas production for power generation. The minister addresses this issue.
It was an investment. We sought authorization. We got authorization. The site that needed budget, which was the switchyard to evacuate the power, we got appropriation from you. We implemented it in accordance with the BPP procurement. And all of the documents that showed the certificates of no objections are in the reports that have been filed before you.
The lawmakers hold up a document from the Bureau of Public Procurement which contradicts the minister's position.
The Bureau has gone through our records and wishes to inform the Honorable Committee that it does not have any information on item A, which is the fast power plant. But I have a letter signed by the same agency asking us to proceed.
The spotlight turns to the official from the agency.
We choose our words by saying that as far as the subject title is concerned, we don't have any information. So there's no contradiction here. The Honorable Minister is right. We issue this certificate of no objection.
The minister is then allowed to address the alleged fraudulent award of a 42 billion naira contract awarded under the Rural Electrification Scheme in some federal universities.
That there is no contract award for 42 billion naira. There is no such award. So it is really a matter of whether you want us to continue, but let me say emphatically and very clearly, there is no fraud here.
The lawmakers then seek to know if the project has been suspended in line with the House resolution.
What I want to affirm from you is, first of all, have you obeyed the resolutions of the House? That is first, before we proceed, because if you have not obeyed the resolutions of the House, then we don't even have any need of your appearance. It means you don't have regards for the institution of the National Assembly.
Mr. Chairman, as I said, I didn't see the document you refer to, so to ask me to obey what I did not see, or to answer whether I've obeyed what I did not see, really, I don't know what you expect me to say.
The lawmakers insist that they're interested in ensuring that the projects are carried out in line with relevant laws and as prudently as possible. They're expected to submit their findings to the House for consideration. Lanre Lasisi, Channels Television News.
Now, when the news at 10 returns, Nigeria Ports Authority takes delivery of largest vessel on Nigerian waters with a capacity of over 200,000 barrels of crude oil. That's some business news. Please stay with us.